Hello and welcome back to My Mom's Basement, ladies and gentlemen. It is Robbie Fox, and I am here with the UFC bantamweight champion of the world. It is Julianna Peña. She's coming off this bantamweight title and not even 2 months removed from it. But are you still on cloud nine? You have to be, right?
I mean, I'm happy. I don't really have that many complaints. When you're the champ, nothing really pisses you off. So I'm in a good spot.
Has your life changed a ton since winning the title, or no? Is it kind of the same routine with more media obligations?
That's exactly what it is. It's exactly the same, but just with more media obligations.
Yeah. So what was that night like? It's December 12th. You win the title. Huge, shocking upset, right? It's the third craziest upset in UFC history when you go by the odds. It was, I think the first was Ronda, the second was GSP and Matt Serra, and then the third is you in the history of the UFC. So can you just take us through like what the emotions were right after you win that title?
The emotions for me was validation, justification for myself. It was something that I knew that I was going to walk away with. I didn't know if I was going to come away with, one arm or, broken eyeball or something, but I just knew that I was going to win. So for me, it was a great justification. I was like, you did it, old gal. Like we knew we were going to do it and we finally did it. And so I was just happy for that because I felt like I proved something to myself and I wasn't, full of beans. And so that was a great thing for me. And then obviously just the elation of winning and just, being engulfed by everyone around me that also knew it. And I just felt like we were validated that we were just finally like, it's finally here. We've been doing this for 13 years. So to see the grind pay off was just very overwhelming and very emotional.
What was your reaction to seeing? I assume you didn't see it in real time, but Michael Chiesa, your teammate, like jumping the barricade like a lunatic to try to celebrate with you. Like when you eventually saw that, how did you react?
I was so happy, and I can tell you that when Mike wins his belt and when he gets that strap right around his waist, I will equally be jumping the barricade and storming the cage as well. We've been doing this. We started within 1 week of each other. Mike started 1 week before I did, and so it's so cool to see it come full circle. And that's my brother in arms, and we go to war together. And so it was just so awesome to see how happy he was for me.
Did you get to celebrate that night, or was it kind of like I have to be a mom tonight?
Yes, I have to be a mom, and no, I didn't get to celebrate that much. I was starving. They didn't have a green room. I went to a hotel to meet some friends, and that was it. I got stormed like crazy. I was in the same spot for like an hour and a half taking pictures with every single fan. I didn't turn one away, and I was wanting food, but everything was closed. And since I was on the casino floor, they were literally like, you have to get off of here. There's no children allowed. And so I ended up walking like a mile to my brother's hotel room, and we ordered a pizza, and I just ate some pizza in his room, and then I went back to the hotel and I slept. Actually, I didn't sleep, I stayed up all night, but I finally got to my hotel room and I put my baby down, and that's kind of how I celebrated.
When you're staying up all night, are you rewatching the victory 100 times? I feel like that's what I would be doing.
I was, yeah. I think I was responding back to text messages. I was rewatching all of the clips from the fight. I was just scouring the internet with all the stuff that I had just done. So I think my baby woke up at like 7, and she was sleeping. She only got a little bit of sleep, but I mean, we were just like so happy, and it was hard. It was actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I slept for like 3 days straight.
Oh my
Um,
God.
I was just so happy, and I couldn't sleep actually.
So you mentioned the feeling of validation that I knew I could do this when you won. And you had been calling out Amanda Nunes for literally like 5 years. And it's crazy. Going back to UFC 200, right? Was when you wanted the title shot. And then Ronda Rousey kind of got to skip the line when she came back. Are you almost, is part of you glad that it took this long to get the title shot so you could have evolved as a fighter and she could evolve as a fighter and get where you are? Or are you like, no, I would have kicked her ass 5 years ago?
No, I definitely think that too. But I also think that, I wasn't actually considering that until I heard another perspective. And they're like, it had to have been this way because she did so much. And so then once, it wouldn't have been the same if I would have beat her 5 years ago. The fact that she has built up such a resume and has been at this for, 6 years going unbeaten, 6 years never had tapped, 6 years of just this bolster list of incredible women that she destroyed and dismantled, like Chris Cyborg, Misha Tate, Ronda Rousey. She wouldn't have had that chance to do that if I would have fought her prior, because it just wouldn't have worked out. So I think that the timing, everything happens for a reason, and timing is very important. And so I'm happy to know that she was able to gain all this success, because then it was great for me too. It just made for such a great matchup, and the timing was absolutely perfect. So I'm happy that they made me wait now in retrospect.
Yeah, from a fan perspective, it feels like beating quote unquote the GOAT was as big as winning the title. Like those things kind of go hand in hand, where it's like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. The title's a cherry on top. But most people were just like, I can't believe she dethroned Amanda. It was the fact that it was, who it was that you beating her. So I think that is very cool that it lasted that. And it's kind of a full circle thing too. You called her out for 5 years, you finally got her, and then you did what you said you were going to do.
Yeah, and I think that that's so true too. Like when it comes to beating the GOAT or beating the champion, you have to, they say this, in order to be the champ, you got to beat the champ, and you got to beat them decisively. And so for me to not only win, but to have beaten her in the way that I did and just dominate like that, I think that is the cherry on top for me, is that I didn't, win by a decision or anything like that. It was a straight up ass whooping.
How much of that ass whooping do you think was mental though, leading into that? Like, could you put a percentage on it leading into the fight?
90%, 90%, 90% mental, because, we both are in great shape. We both have trained very hard for the fight. We both have, skills in our arsenal that could take anybody out at any given point in time. But mentally is where I think the fight is won or lost. It's I mental fortitude and keeping your mind sharp is very hard in this game, and I think that she definitely was beaten mentally before the fight.
And how would you compare her power to the others that you faced in your career? Because you took some heavy shots, you were able to take all of them, but you actually got to like really experience it.
Yeah, she absolutely punches hard. She's the hardest hitting woman that I've ever faced. But the flip side to that is I've stood in the pocket with the best strikers in the division. I was backing up Jermaine Durandyman when I fought her. I was backing up Valentina Shevchenko when I fought her. So I think that her power is great, but so is mine.
Is there any desire for you to try to get back that Shevchenko loss on your record, or are you like that's a thing of the past at this point?
Both Jermaine and Valentina. I've dropped 2 fights in the last 10 years, and those 2 fights they haunt me because I was beating them both handedly right when I screwed the pooch and got caught there. So that's just, it's heartbreaking. It still bothers me, and I absolutely would like my revenge on both of those fights.
I assume next for you will probably be an Amanda Nunes rematch, though.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, that's in the books for me. Absolutely. Because, there's still people that think that that was a fluke. And so I just want to go back in there and show them that it was no fluke.
Do you think it goes the exact same way in the second fight?
I can't say for sure. I definitely think that it's gonna go in the way that I get my hand raised no matter what. But to say that it's gonna go exactly the same, I have no idea. I just know that, when that time comes, I will be absolutely ready.
And do you have a time that you want to get back in the octagon, a summer thing, a fall thing, or are you kind of just waiting to hear from the UFC?
Yeah, so summer's good for me. If it's good for her, I think that summer would be a great time for us to rematch. And it kind of depends on what works for both of us and what makes sense for everyone, for me, for her, for the UFC. But I would definitely love to fight in the summertime.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge rematch. I can't wait. What is your favorite thing that you've gotten to do since becoming champ that maybe you wouldn't have if you didn't win that fight?
Let's see.
Your
Favorite thing
Instagram is
about.
like a fun scroll right now because it's like you with Johnny Knoxville, you with Mario Lopez, you with the Anaheim Ducks. It's like you doing a bunch of fun stuff.
Yes, yes. Actually, I think that going on Ellen was pretty epic. I don't think I would have ever had a chance to go on Ellen. I think that that's pretty awesome. And just the amount of media attention that I've been getting. Actually, Joe Rogan was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
I think that that was awesome. And yeah, of course, I've always, if you go way back down my scroll list, I've had some awesome pictures with some pretty awesome celebrities. And so I think that that's pretty epic to be able to meet these people that I wouldn't have ever got the chance to meet otherwise.
What's the new Rogan compound like? Is it awesome?
It is awesome. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It wasn't what I was expected. I thought that their kitchen was where we were going to be doing the podcast, and then they took me like around the corner and through this hallway, and I was like, "Oh, this is where we're going." So it was pretty awesome to go in there and to see it for myself.
As a fighter, who are your favorite fighters, fellow fighters to watch in the UFC?
So my favorite fighter of all time doesn't fight in the UFC. It's Fedor Emelianenko. I
Yeah.
am the biggest fangirl of him, and I love him. And then of
I
course
didn't know
my
that. You
training.
should do a press conference in the sweater.
Yeah, I know. I would love to, like a little Christmas sweater, ugly Christmas
Yeah.
sweater. I love Fedor. I think that he's fantastic. And I love watching my training partners fight. I love watching Mike fight. I love watching Brady he stand fight. I like watching Terrence McKinney fight. And of course, my training partners from VFS here, Nacho Bahamondes, Bilal Muhammad, Carlos Hernandez. I love watching my training partners fight. And I think that those are the ones that get me the most excited because I train with them every day and I see them in the gym every day.
Do you ever feel like more nervous watching them fight than you actually fighting?
Of course, yes. I get a pit in my stomach and I just am so like, ah, yeah, I do. It's hard for me to watch, but I love it.
Yeah, of course, you have to. For a while, it seemed like Kayla Harrison might be signing with the UFC. You guys kind of exchanged words a little bit. She was at the fight, obviously. Do you think now that it seems like she's probably staying with the PFL that that was the right move for her?
Um, yeah, it probably was the right move for her. I think that, her being a part of that $1 million tournament and winning it, I believe 2 years in a row is just great for her. Hey, if you can go for a third, why not? And then also the level of competition. There's not really, high caliber girls at that weight division. So to try to get her girls in her weight, I know that these girls are coming up in weight just to compete for that $1 million, but they're not actually true. What does she fight at? 155,
Yeah,
165?
155.
155. They're not true 155ers. There's not a lot of 155ers out there. So these girls are just coming up in weight for a chance to fight for $1 million, but there's not really a big deep division as far as the competition goes. So I think that it's great that she gets to um, make $1 million on girls that are not, at that high caliber level that she is. So it makes sense. Go get your money.
Yeah, I felt like it made sense too. Like I think Dana White might have done an interview where he was like, "Nope, if she could keep making $1 million, keep making $1 million," and the media kind of like trashed him for saying that. But I was like, "No, it kind of makes sense. Like she's making $1 million a year, so why not?"
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, make your money. Go make. It's to me not rocket science. Go make the most money you can in the easiest way possible. I mean, of course, that makes sense to me.
A huge women's fight that just got announced in the boxing world is Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor. I think it's probably going to be the biggest women's boxing fight like ever. It's at MSG. Do you have any thoughts on this one?
I didn't know that. I am such a big fan, I guess, of both women. I commentate on the side for Combate Americas, and Amanda Serrano fought for Combate, and I got to see her striking, and I was blown away by how crisp her striking was. I think that she's an incredible athlete, and she's also a nice person. And Katie Taylor, I know, is another monster in her division, and so I definitely think that that's a great fight. That's awesome to know that they booked that. Do you know when?
I think it's in the spring. It's like coming up soon. I was, booked with Jake Paul and Eddie Hearn. Like they're gonna be co-promoting it. So it's gonna be like a huge, obviously one of the biggest fights in women's boxing history.
Okay, well, that is so cool. Good for her. Good for both of them. I think that's a huge fight. That's a great matchup, and what's exciting for me about that is that Amanda Serrano is a beast in the sense that she's literally gone up and down and up and down and fought the who's who, and literally has made such a gigantic career in fighting in every single division. I think she's the only woman that could say that she's a champion in, like, I don't know, 6 divisions. Like, that's incredible. And I know that Katie Taylor's probably a bit bigger than her. So to see that they're coming together and maybe fighting at a catchweight, that's awesome. That's great news.
It's going to be awesome. All right, I got a couple fun ones before I get you out of here. The first of which is, what is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie is True Romance.
Oh, what a great one. Yeah, Tarantino's first script. Yeah, sold it off and made
Yes.
Reservoir Dogs. Yeah.
Yes. I love that movie. It's one of my favorites.
Do you have a favorite fighting movie?
Favorite fighting movie. I think it's the one with, is it Mark Wahlberg, the fighter?
Oh yeah, Mark Wahlberg and Christian Bale. Great movie. Yeah.
Yes, that's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, that's really good as well. What is your favorite TV show?
My favorite TV show. I see. I don't get a lot of time to watch TV.
I thought about that
Uh,
when I was writing this. I was like, she's the champ. She ain't watching TV.
yeah. But maybe gosh, and this sucks because I probably do have one, but nothing that comes right off the top. I really liked Squid Games. I loved Squid
Oh,
Games.
that was really good. Yeah, I liked it as well. So
Yeah.
kind of a follow-up to that one. A lot of UFC fighters and MMA fighters have been appearing in the pro wrestling world recently. In AEW and WWE, Ronda Rousey just won the Royal Rumble. Would you ever consider going to pro wrestling and doing something in that world?
So if it was after my fighting career and after I was done with the UFC, then I absolutely would. But if it is, during the UFC, no, I don't think I would. Right now, my focus is just on the UFC. But in the future, I mean, I'm definitely open to doing something like that. I think that's probably going to be something like a dream come true later on when I'm done with my UFC career.
I was gonna say, like, you know how to cut a promo already. We've seen that. So you could even get in the ring, cut a promo, throw a hip toss, and get out of there. And it's just like, oh, there's the
I,
champ.
I tried. I wanted to do I went to the WWE when they were here in Chicago at the Allstate Arena, like maybe the week after I won. And I was trying so hard to get inside that ring. And I was going to be like, I heard you guys got some goats around here. Well, I'm the goat slayer. So, bring them on out. Let's see what you guys got. But they didn't let me in the ring.
Damn, that would have been great. Maybe AEW. Maybe you got to go to their competition, and then it'll like force their hand.
Well, it was crazy because I saw Shayna Baszler in there. She came out. I didn't know she was there. She came out. She got pinned in like 10 seconds right in front of me. I'm like, this is crazy. I think that would be a great first match for me if I ever do go to the WWE.
Yeah, you and Shayna, that would be awesome. Yeah. There's
Grudge
a ton
match.
of MMA fighters. Like the entire four horsewomen of MMA are now in pro wrestling. Like some of them are in WWE, some of them are in AEW, some of them work in the independents, but it seems to be like, I don't know, an easy transition for a lot of people. Matt Riddle is really succeeding in wrestling right now. It's like, I don't know if it's just the body language techniques or whatever it is. MMA fighters seem to transition very well.
Well, and I also think that, any, older, I guess, MMA fighter can relate to WWE so much because for me, for example, this is what I grew up watching. This is what I grew up. My brother practiced all these moves on me. So like I'm a fan of the WWE because that was the first form of fighting that I actually saw. I thought it was real. I thought that these guys were, crazy fighters. And so I think that they transition so well because it's what they grew up watching.
Yeah.
And so I think that also has something to do with it.
And then who is your favorite musical artist?
My favorite musical artist. See, that's difficult because I have such a wide range of music taste. I literally listen to everything, and I'm such a big fan. I love, for example, Nora Jones. I also love like Kanye West, so it can go either way depending on my mood. I love Brad Paisley, Kid Rock, and obsessed with Elton John, so um those are just some of the people that I like, but I love music. Literally, I listen to music all day long, every single day. They call me the DJ at the gym because I got the playlists, and I love a lot of artists. It just depends on the mood that I'm in.
Do you have like a pump up playlist? Like this is the playlist that helped me win the title. You got to put that out there for the people.
Yeah, it's called Leo Lion Shit Only. And it's like stuff that like gets me pumped up at sight. And then I had like an Abu Dhabi playlist when I went to Abu Dhabi. And so
Yep.
like I form a new playlist pretty much every camp.
I was there in Abu Dhabi for the Sarah McMahon fight. And Sarah McMahon, I have to admit, a little urge to root for her because I was on a plane with her over there and she worked out in front of me like 6 times on the plane. I was like, I am trying to get some sleep and she can't stop working out. Good for her. But then, yeah, you beat her. You ruined that.
Yeah, no, I know. I heard that too. Like she was working out on the plane and I was like, oh, I was chilling. I was
I was trying to
sleeping.
read a
I was
book.
enjoying
She was doing
yeah, I was
burpees.
yeah, I know. I was having a good time just enjoying the, first class experience and getting treated like a princess on that flight. So I was like, "Do you want some champagne?" Yes, I do want some champagne. Thank you. So I was having a good old time.
Yeah, that flight was
Definitely
rough
I
though.
definitely
I'll
wasn't
never go to
working
Abu
out.
Dhabi again, I don't think.
Yeah, well, you have to go first class. If you don't go first class, then it ain't
Yeah.
nothing.
No,
So
I wasn't
yeah.
in first class. Way back, I was on the middle seat, and a fighter's coach spilled a drink on my sock. I had a wet sock for the flight. You know how bad a wet sock is for an 18-hour flight?
That is horrible. They give you socks in first class. I got like
Oh,
I still have them. They were so comfortable. They were like so nice.
that's brutal. You're the champ. You deserve the socks. Juliana, thank you for joining the show. I really appreciate the time. And I hope you get that title fight soon, that title defense soon.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me and thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it.